Hello and welcome back to Long Day's Journey into Film podcast. I'm Russ, here with my co-host.
Andy here.
And we are going to continue talking about the Hellraiser movies. So, if you didn't see the first episode, part 1, we talked about Hellraiser 1 through 5. And we'll be talking about all the rest of them now. So, starting with Hellraiser Hellseeker from 2002, directed by Rick Boda. Boda?
Boda these nuts. I'm kidding, that was never through me.
Who this guy also directed Deader and Hellworld. So he'll be a familiar face in the Hellraiser franchise.
The guy who ruined it.
Yep, pretty much. And yeah, so this film is about so you want to explain it?
Well, Hellseeker was hard to fucking watch to begin with.
Yes.
So it's about. This is actually the return of Kirsty. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, it's the same actor, so it's cool.
Yeah, the main character is her boyfriend, and the movie begins with them driving along the road. And then an incident happens, and they get into a car crash. And when he wakes up, Kirsty is gone, nowhere to be seen. And the detectives are looking for Kirsty, and they believe he is a suspect. Just kind of follows his life, and yeah, he's sus.
Yeah, Trevor is sus.
I mean, I don't even remember the guy's name. I like the actor.
I wrote down the characters' names in my notes, so yeah, this sucked. This was very similar to Inferno. I was surprised that they basically just copy and pasted the same like general form or general plot of Inferno for this one, because which I dislike. Oh, also, if you haven't seen the first episode or just forgot, all of these. Or we'll be talking about spoilers for all of them, the entire franchise, the ones before the last episode, and all of them, or the last part, and all of them here now. So, spoilers if you don't want to be spoiled for Hellseeker. So yeah. Anyway, this is also like much like Inferno. It's kind of it's like a a morality. This guy is being judged for being like immoral by Pinhead, which is fucking stupid.
There is a twist at the end, but it's not really a twist because if you know anything about Hellraiser, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, and this was stupid. The one thing I gotta say is I like this more than Inferno. I don't know why. I mean, they're pretty much the same thing, but like.
It was more watchable. It wasn't as like bleak, I guess you could say.
Like the story, or
no, like the way it was filmed. I don't know. It just
I know what you mean.
The atmosphere was less boring, I guess, but it's still boring.
Yeah, it is still boring, and like. I really hated, because when I watched Inferno, I don't know why, but I was kind of like, it's going to be the 2000s, it's probably have that, like, early 2000s vibe, which I like in horror movies. And I wasn't looking forward to it, because it was probably going to be shit. But, like, after watching, like, Bloodline stuff, I didn't know how bad the franchise was going to get. And I was kind of looking forward to Inferno, just because it was early 2000s, and I wanted to see where it went. And I just hated how they just threw Pinhead into, and the Hellraiser stuff and the puzzle box and shit. He just threw it into this random fucking stupid story. But in this one, I was kind of expecting it. And I really hated that Kirsty dies, in quotes, in the first scene. And I kind of like that it turns out that she's not actually dead, because I hate it when they kill... I hate it when they kill important characters of other movies in sequels in stupid ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. But like,
the big twist of the film is that Kirsty is actually alive. This guy's dead. He's in fucking purgatory. Wow, what a surprise.
Because she killed him.
Because Kirsty killed him because he was cheating on Kirsty and tried to kill her with the box.
Yeah. And I like that. I like to see Kirsty get out and kind of win, you know. I like that. You know, I like
barely
Kirsty.
in the film, which is disappointing.
Exactly.
She
She's
would
in
have
like fucking.
definitely been able to carry it if she was
She's
more
in like.
prominent.
Yeah, she's in like 3 scenes and some flashbacks. It's so fucking lame because like, yeah, she's great at it. You know, she's a good actor.
And
Yeah,
I'm not
I really
saying
didn't.
like Trevor's a bad actor. I actually like Dean Winters because
Yeah, he
I'm
was
a big
decent.
fan of Oz, and he is all throughout Oz. He's a main character of Oz, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not really
And
familiar with the actor, but he was okay
I
in it.
think he's pretty underrated. So I mean, he did an okay job with this. This is not.
Yeah.
It felt kind of phoned in almost.
Yeah, it was like acceptable. I mean, there was nothing like yeah, it was fine. But
I've definitely seen better from him.
what I really hated about this movie, I actually started finding it amusing after a certain point, was how many fucking times you use that same stupid thing where he's doing something weird or creepy happens, and then he wakes up. 6 fucking times this happened. I counted 6 fucking times, and it was all like in the first like maybe 40 minutes. Like why? Like why do you need to keep doing this? It was just like I couldn't stand that. It was like it's that old thing in like a horror movie, you know, they're having a dream and then they wake up. But they kept doing it over and over. Every scene ended like that. I mean, it makes sense because in purgatory, I guess like none of it's real or whatever. But like, it was just fucking stupid. I mean, yeah, this entire thing was just kind of dumb.
And I mean, that pretty much sums it up. There's not much to say
And like Pinhead,
about
like
this film.
yeah, Pinhead was barely in it. You know, he showed up for a couple scenes and like I kind of forget what the fuck was the guy doing. He was like, he got the puzzle box. He like bought it, I think, from Pinhead, and then, but he didn't look like Pinhead, and then he like gave it to Kirsty so she would open it and then they'd come take her. Was that his plan?
Yeah,
But like she knew what that is. She knew what the puzzle box was.
Yeah,
And
he
like,
had no idea she knew.
and like before that, it's like she's just like I guess she got out of the. I forget it. At the end of Hellbound, was she still in the mental institution or probably not? I don't know. It was like there was nobody brought up her past with Pinhead and stuff. Like maybe that she like kind of talked to Pinhead like she knew him, but like or like knew of him. Maybe she wasn't surprised by that, but like there was no. It would have worked perfectly fine without it being Kirsty, you know, without it being that same character, and that was stupid too because obviously this was just some lame. I mean, it could have been okay maybe without it as it was, but like this was just some lame script that they turned into a Hellraiser movie.
Yeah, the last scene was actually pretty.
Yeah, I
fun.
like that. I like the ending. I didn't really expect the twist. I thought it was just going to be that he killed her. That's another thing I was going to bring up. Maybe this is I'm just looking too deep into it, but the plot was weirdly similar to Lost Highway. Have you seen Lost Highway by David Lynch?
I have not. I want to, but I have not.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but it's like a dude who may or may not have killed his wife, who's like in a weird dream state, and like he keeps having sex with like a bunch of different women, and like he's like unstable, like reality is crumbling. It's just kind of weirdly similar to the general premise of Lost Highway. I don't know. It wasn't really going anywhere with that, but that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you haven't seen it. There was a thing from Basic Instinct with killing someone while having sex with them with an ice pick. That was odd. Was that like a homage to Basic Instinct, or because it's so specific, you know?
I don't really have much more to say about this movie or the next one.
I took a bunch of notes. I'm just saying random stuff because I took a bunch of fucking notes for no reason. Also, when the guy, the main guy, Trevor or whatever, his friend that was like, kind of, he was in on it with the killing his wife plot. He like shoots himself, and then you see like a CGI blood, and it looks so terrible. And it just makes me think, man, this is where we came from, like that great gore in the first one to this terrible CGI blood.
Some really bad CGI blood in Hellworld.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But,
Hellworld. Yeah. We'll get to that. Is that next?
No,
Debtor's
next.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, overall, this was just it was just bad. I didn't I didn't like it, but I didn't really hate it. Like it wasn't offensive to me. Not that Inferno was really
Yeah,
offensive, but I didn't hate it as much as some of the other ones. This was just extremely like bland and stupid. I would give it a 4 out of 10. Closer
yeah,
to a 3, but yeah.
yeah, same for me.
So on to the main
And
attraction.
oh yeah,
Um,
Deader.
Deader. Yeah.
Do we need to say more? Because I don't fucking remember much other than I
yeah.
hated that
So
one while
Deader,
watching it.
Hellraiser Deader, 2005, directed by Rick Boda, the
This was
Lord and Savior of
actually
Hellraiser.
filmed the same time as Hellworld, I think. I think they like shot him back to back or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Which is
This
weird
one.
because they feel completely different.
Yeah. That's something that kind of confused me that I'll talk about more when we talk about Hellworld. But so this one follows. Let me just read the fucking letterbox description. It sounds so stupid. In London, after investigating crack-addicted junkies for an article in a newspaper, Amy Klein watches a bizarre videotape where an underground group of youngsters in Bucharest, fuck, I didn't say it right, apparently becoming zombies.
Chris?
Amy finds Marla dead with a puzzle cube in her hands. She brings the object to her hotel room and opens it, beginning her journey to hell. So I thought this was gonna be like The Ring or something with like the videotape or whatever. Yeah, like Rick Boda, he watched Hellraiser and just thought, this would be so much better with Romanian zombies in it.
Why are we in Romania? How the fuck did the cube end up here? Last person who had the cube was Kirsty, and now it's
Yeah, it makes
in
no fucking
Romania?
sense. It makes no fucking sense at all. It's just stupid. It's just this one was fucking terrible. Like I actually hate this one because it's just like so bad. It's just like there's stuff in it that okay, maybe if it was a different movie, it would be like slightly below average lame, kind of like some of the other ones. But like with it how it is, it's just terrible.
It's
And
easily the worst one.
by far, yeah.
And a
Yeah,
lot of
I
people would
didn't like
probably
this one.
argue Revelations is worse, but no, this
Yeah,
is
no,
far worse.
this one was so bland. Like there was nothing interesting. There was nothing visually interesting. There was no interesting like kills or gore. There was nothing interesting with the
It was the
characters.
most generic early 2000s horror film ever.
Yeah, it was just like it was just so boring. And like, I think I'm not sure if we brought this up or not, but everything past Bloodline was straight to DVD or straight to like video. So yeah, they're not. It's not exactly the highest standard, But yeah, this
Yeah,
was just. It was just so lame, and like, I hate to defend the other or say good stuff about like Inferno and Hellseeker because I really hate both of those too. But at least those like the characters were semi interesting. Like in Inferno,
yeah.
it sucks, but like the main character, it's like okay, it's sort of interesting where this is going, even though it's terrible and I don't like the movie at all. It's like, but like this one is just so bland. There's
It just
nothing.
like copies all the worst elements from every previous movie.
Yeah, it's 88 minutes, and like it felt like so fucking long. It felt like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
I
Or some
mean,
shit.
quite a few of them. I was like, is this movie almost done? And then I checked the time and there's like 30, 45 minutes left. I'm like, what the fuck?
I was tempted to watch this at 2 times speed, but I didn't because I'm doing it for the podcast. It was, yeah, fuck this movie. I really don't have a lot to say about it. It's like people turning into zombies and shit. It's like so stupid. I don't
It's
even know what this has anything remotely to do with Hellraiser. There's like people, they open a gateway to hell, so Pinhead is mad, and so he's like, oh, I'm gonna come, and then just comes and kills them all with hooks, and then it ends. That was the only scene that was actually that's maybe the only thing that keeps me from giving it a 1 out of 10 was because Pinhead shows up for 1 second, kills some people with hooks, and that was kind of cool.
yeah, that was the only like thing I fucking remember.
And like without the Pinhead thing, which it's I don't like that it's a Hellraiser movie. I don't like that it exists as a Hellraiser movie, but without that, I bet the movie would probably be like even lamer. Like I don't know. Yeah, fuck this movie. 2 out of
It's
10.
possibly, honestly, the worst movie I've ever seen.
It's not that bad. I would say I've seen a lot worse.
I mean, it's
Yeah, I've
technically
seen
a lot
some.
worse, but like in regards to like everything, this it's just I don't understand what the fuck happened.
I would say like on the I would say as a movie that just fails on every level. I would say this is probably one of those, but
It commits the
it's not one of the
ultimate
worst. It's not something
movie
like
sin, which is to be boring.
yeah, and like I don't like anything about it, but like on the other hand, it's so bland and so stupid. It's not like offensive to me. It's not like I'm like, man, I fucking hate this. This is the worst. You know, it's like I didn't really care. I just sat there bored for 88
It's
minutes and wished I
offensive to
didn't watch
me.
it.
I just I won't even give it a 4 star. It's half star for me. Just stay away from this movie.
Yeah, yeah, I'd give it a 2 out of 10 because like I only save 1 out of 10s and tens, but I only save 1 out of 10s for like something that really I think is extremely just like either something that like personally I hate or something that I think is so horrible that it really deserves that. So like I kind of save that for stuff I really feel strongly about, and I do feel strongly about this. I'd give it a 2 just because I don't think it's worthy of being of me like giving it the honor of giving it my lowest rating. You know what I
It
mean?
also has terrible box art, and that fucking Hellraiser font is terrible.
Yeah, yeah, it's stupid as fuck, and yeah, fuck this movie. One of my
It's
notes is just lame, 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 lame. um, yeah. All right, so
and
we're
then
done
like
talking about that shitstorm.
thankfully, I mean the next 3 films are not the greatest or anything, but they were far better from the last 3.
I enjoyed all three of these,
I
for
did
different
too.
reasons, probably, but I enjoyed these, and they were never um, unwatchable or like, you know, like what's the word? Yeah, they were. Yeah. So next one is Hellraiser 8,
Hellworld,
Hellworld, from
which
2005, also directed by Rick Boda. Which surprisingly, it's not a complete shitstorm like Hellseeker and Deader. So maybe it was
yeah,
just the scripts and stuff for those with Rick Boda. But yeah. So you wanna, or should I? Should I introduce it? You introduce it. I did the last one.
all right. So Hellraiser starts off with a funeral. And it's about a circle of youths who are addicted to playing Hellworld, an online computer game based on the Hellraiser series. I don't understand how this works meta-wise. How the fuck do people know about Pinhead now? Is it just a myth? They don't
Yeah.
really divulge on that. But anyway, the film opens up at the funeral of Adam, one of their friends who was obsessed with the game and then decided to kill himself because he was too immersed in the game. And I guess I don't know. And then the remaining 5 friends blame themselves. And then yeah, this part, and then a couple years later, they all meet up together because they all received an invitation to this party at this mansion in like the middle of fucking nowhere.
It's
It's
hella
not in the
rad, bro.
middle of nowhere, but like
Yeah, it's a spooky house somewhere.
a weird location for how extravagant this house was.
Yeah.
Like this house was way bigger on the inside than it was on the outside.
Yeah, for sure. It's like the House
Like
of
it had
Leaves.
like 50 fucking floors.
And yeah, so
It's got a young Henry Cavill, who is actually one of the better parts of the movie, in my opinion.
yeah, I really enjoyed him in this. I really liked him in this. He was pretty funny actually. And yeah, I
Yeah,
just enjoyed seeing him. Also,
Lance Henriksen, who is a pretty amazing actor, carries this film on his back as well as the main bad guy, pretty much.
oh, that was Lance Henriksen. What the fuck? How did I not realize that?
I don't know, but it was a pleasant surprise seeing actual fucking actors, which isn't supposed to happen for direct TV films.
Yeah, and
Direct to video films, I mean.
Catherine Winnick, who she
She is
just
in um, Vikings, so she's actually pretty acclaimed as well. And she
haven't
was
seen.
pretty decent too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think the acting in this movie was definitely some of the better acting in the franchise.
Yeah, but it felt like an
Yeah, I
early
mean,
2000s horror movie. But that's not a
yeah.
bad thing because here's the thing: I really love early 2000s and like late 90s
There's
horror
something
movies,
about
especially
that aesthetic
they
and
just hit
vibe.
differently. They're just
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're like this oh man, and this is so early 2000s, and which is so weird because this is directed by Rick Boda. Apparently, this was filmed back to
This came
back
out
with
in
Deader,
this came out in 2005, but I think they were filmed in 2002.
which is so weird because like it looks nothing like Deader. Like
Yeah,
it
it
looks a lot better. It's acted a lot better. The script's a lot better. It just I have no
the
idea
sets were far
how he made
better.
this. Fact, maybe he just put all his effort into doing this one and just kind of shit out Deader, you know? Like I don't know, but like this one, I really enjoyed it.
Whatever he did
It's
with
got a
this
lot of
one worked.
problems, but
It's not amazing, but in terms of like bad horror movies, this is one of the more enjoyable ones.
oh yeah. This is the last one. Also, this is the last one with Doug Bradley as Pinhead. So
Unfortunately.
hmm. And so here's one thing that's really weird about it. You know, so towards the beginning, and just the general theme of it with the Hellraiser video game and stuff, computer game. Like, it's kind of like Wes Craven's New Nightmare,
Yeah, I get
where
that idea too. I was like, I feel like they were going for that, but they just missed the mark.
yeah, and like it's supposed to be like yeah, they're aware of Hellraiser. That's just a movie, and but like they never really go anywhere with that. And also like towards the beginning, there's a couple things that make it like it's kind of being self-aware. Maybe not like Scream because that was more references to other horror movies, but there's stuff like when they first walk into the party, they see like some topless girls and they're like, "Oh, that's the gratuitous tit shot," or like
Yeah.
like I think Henry Cavill, Mike is his name in the movie. He's like going flipping through like tarot cards, and he sees like it's like the death card, and he's like, "This is where shit hits the fan, guys." And it's like kind of like
Death Card
he's
was Pinhead.
yeah, but I think they were like tarot cards, weren't they?
Yeah, they were tarot cards and
And that was supposed to be like the death card, I think. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know anything about tarots, but and it was doing that thing where it's self-aware that it's a horror movie and that it's cheesy and that there's these stupid cliches in it, and they're poking fun at that, kind of like in say something like Scream. And there's what like kind of the like I said the New Nightmare type of vibe with it existing in a universe where Hellraiser exists. But then they don't go anywhere with that, and they just completely cut that off, and it becomes fully serious. And I didn't really like that. I wish it was self-aware completely all the way through, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have benefited from a better script, and it would have been take all the Hellraiser stuff out and buff up the script a bit, and it would have been a pretty solid film.
I would say that, but okay, so you know, there's a big twist at the end. It turns out that the whole time, so what was his name? Adams. Yeah, Adam, the guy who killed himself. His father is getting revenge on him for, I guess, not helping him. That's an element of the movie I didn't think
He
worked.
like
'Cause it's
blames the kids for
yeah,
his
and
death
like,
because he was so absorbed in the game.
but like Adam killed himself. Why? Because of Pinhead, I guess, or something.
It doesn't really like go into why he killed
Like it
himself.
would
It
make
alludes to the game, but
it
it
would make
doesn't.
sense if it was like Pinhead came and like tore him apart or something, you know, or like he did his thing and they found him dead and they thought he killed himself, something like that. That might have worked, but like he just burns himself alive and that has nothing to do with like Pinhead or any, or like I guess he just kills himself because anyway. The father he blames the other kids or his friends, Adam's friends, and he gives them hallucinogenics, I guess, of some sort, and like drugs them and puts them in coffins underground. So the entire movie, they're all just hallucinating, and that's something I thought was clever because there's scenes where like, I think it's I forget his name, Derek. I think he's like, the kind of the token black guy of the group that they always had
Yeah,
in the early 2000s horror movies. he's having an asthma attack, so he runs to the basement, gets this thing or
Yeah.
whatever, and then he's like laying on like a table or a stretcher or something, and like Pinhead comes up with a cleaver and just chops his head off. I was like, what the fuck? This is so not Pinhead. It's like so cheesy and stupid, and he's just like, it's funny to see Pinhead like doing these like generic like slasher movie kills, but it makes sense in the universe in this movie's thing because they're all imagining Pinhead because they know the movies and they're kind of afraid of that. So they're like, like he actually just like choked himself to death or whatever.
Kind of almost works in a meta sense.
It does, and I really like that. I thought it actually makes sense. Like, yeah, it's kind of stupid. There's just a hallucinogenic that makes him go crazy and do these things. It's kind of stupid, but it actually makes sense, and that's why I don't get why this movie is so lowly rated. Like, this has like, let me look on, like on Letterboxd, it's like a 1.8. That's the same as Deader. It's got the same like score as Deader, and like fucking like
Revelations
and like
is
Judgement
rated lower than Better, but it's
but like Hellworld is
we'll
actually kind of a good movie. But anyway, the thing about it being Hellraiser, so they find that out and then they escape it. Then we'll get more to the end, but I just want to say this real quick. And then at the very end, the father who did the whole thing and kind of was responsible for the kids' deaths, who killed themselves in their whole thing, he finds the puzzle box that his son makes. He was so obsessed with it or whatever, and then he opens it, and then fucking the real Pinhead shows up with his Cenobites, and they slash him apart. And he dies, and it has a terrible CGI effect. That was so funny. That was so cheesy and so stupid that even though they established it, and the entire movie made sense that Pinhead was in their minds, the real Pinhead exists. And I thought that was hilarious. Like, it's just so stupid and cheesy. And I really like that. I wish they would have been more self-aware and more cheesy with it instead of taking it so seriously through the last, like, 2/3 of the movie, or the last half of the movie is, like, fully taken seriously. I'm going on it if you have something to say.
I mean, I want to bring up, like, there's a scene. Wait, there's two scenes. First scene is, I think it is the first death in the movie. That felt like something straight up out of Saw, and it was pretty amusing to see.
Yeah. But this is something, I thought, okay, this 2005 came out a year after Saw. They're, they must just be, like, writing off the success of Saw and being like, we're going to do that same thing. Because she's in the chair, the fucking things come out, she's strapped in. It's so completely Saw. And there's a couple scenes where the editing reminded me of Saw, where it's like the choppy, jumpy, like going around things real quick. But like, if this was filmed in 2002 with Deader, then no way could they know about Saw, because Saw came out in 2004. So either, like, that doesn't make sense, because it's so obviously, like, trying to be like Saw. Unless it's not, it's just a coincidence.
Maybe that piece of info we got was total bullshit. It's gotta be.
It might have been, yeah. Maybe they did, like, Hellseeker and Deader back to back. That would make more sense. Because both of those look bland and are kind of lame,
Yeah.
Actually, the kills in this are decent. Oh, sorry, what?
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out where they filmed it at. It was originally called Hellraiser Dead World.
Hellworld works. I thought it was gonna be like from the description and stuff, I thought it was gonna be like Pinhead is like online, like, oh, he's capturing people online, like going through the computer, or like he has like hellworld.com and that's where they, he comes through that. Like, I thought it was gonna be more of like that, like early 2000s type of thing, and like late 90s, where it's like, whoa, internet, whoa.com, where it's like, it's so creepy, we don't know what this is. Kind of like something like actually, this is a good movie, like Pulse. That's a good movie. I don't think that's cheesy or anything. It's actually a decent internet horror movie, but there's that type of thing in that era where I thought that's what it was going to be, but it wasn't. But so I was a little bit disappointed because I expected it to be something different. Like, the poster on Letterboxd is like Hellraiser with
Cyber?
like binary code behind him, and it looks like the Matrix or some shit.
Hacker man. I want to bring up real quick. I'm looking through the cast list right now. The quote token black guy, as they always had back then, Carrie Payton. this guy was Cyborg on Teen Titans. I just wanted to point out that this guy is also, like the rest of the cast, a pretty solid actor and voice actor,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
strange considering most of these other films did not have good actors in them.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it is a decent cast. Yeah, I don't see it. That must have been wrong with them filming this back to back with Dead.
yeah, it's
No way. It's
so
yeah,
different.
like also it's
But
just I love the whole like early 2000s vibe of it, like just like
yeah,
it's very like, you know, there's like
the music was definitely nailed that into.
oh, for sure. I thought at any moment that like a Green Day song was going to start playing like in the first bit of it. You know, it's like that it's that vibe.
I think most of the soundtrack was Cell Dweller.
Oh, it was what?
Who Cell Dweller? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't really know, but it just you know, like in early 2000s movies, it had that vibe and like
I thought they were gonna go with like more new metal, like fucking Slipknot could have popped up and it would have fit.
yeah, yeah. And like they walk into the party and they're like, "This is so rad." It's such an early 2000s thing to say.
Also,
Yeah.
like Henry Cavill for some reason has like a fucking sex spree in the middle of the movie, which is odd.
Yeah. I guess that's just. I guess he was just imagining that. That's.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, that was. Doesn't he like? Isn't there like a earlier they mentioned there's like some kind of nun or something, and he like fucks like a ghost nun, kind of.
What?
Yeah, earlier they mentioned there's like some kind of nun that found the box or puzzle box. And there's like a picture of her in like the dude's like museum of fucking Hellraiser stuff. And then like I think she shows up. I think that's who it was. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it was. I actually thought the kills were decent in it. Like they weren't great. They were nothing mind blowing, but they were so much better than like Inferno, Hellseeker, and Deader. Like they were actually kills, like someone getting their head chopped off. You know, fucking the Saw like one. I do think it maybe tried too hard to be serious towards the end, or it kind of dragged maybe a little bit in the middle.
There's a weird note with when the girl gets found and it's like a week later from where she was. I don't know how they survived. They would be in they wouldn't be as lucid as they were if they were missing for a week and in a box.
Yeah.
They would definitely be needing some help. But she like looks up at the window and she sees Adam standing in the window, the corpse of Adam, as if like he was the one who kind of like saved their lives, which is really it's a weird note for a Hellraiser movie.
And then there's that thing when they're both in the car driving, and then like
the last scene.
Yeah, the fucking I forget what his name was, but the guy who did it all to him, like Adam's father or whatever.
Yeah.
He like shows up in the back of their car for a second and then disappears.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was going to be, oh, the twist is that they're actually still in the boxes and then they die or something like that, and like they just imagine them like being saved and stuff. But it doesn't, and then it just ends. And
there's no explanation. Like, what the fuck just happened? And then after that, there is one more scene where the guy is sitting somewhere. It almost kind of looks like Romania, wherever that hotel is. That's my theory. My theory is that Hellworld actually takes place before Deader, and that's how the fucking box ends up over there. Because that guy...
After the one was with Kirsty, and then the other guy who killed himself, he made one. Then they took it to Romania. That makes sense. No, but then he's... Yeah, well, what do you think of the scene when the actual Pinhead shows up and kills him? I thought that was hilarious. But, like, you know, it's stupid, but I thought it was funny.
I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but it's just funny because, like...
The gore in that scene was terrible. Like, really?
Oh, yeah, the CGI.
Fake blood.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah, like fake guts, like the cross-section when he gets cut up. It reminded me a bit of, like...
It looked like fucking watermelon.
Yeah, and, it's just funny because, like, they had to do that. They had to throw in the Pinhead's actually real. The movie makes sense without Pinhead being real.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely one of my. I like this one a whole lot more than the others. It's probably I probably like this more than even Bloodline. But yeah, I'll give it a 5, closer to a 6. But just some of the stuff I thought took itself too seriously and dropped the whole like self-aware thing. And also, I just thought it kind of dragged a little bit towards the middle. So yeah, I'd give it like a 5. It's a solid, it's a solid early 2000s horror movie.
I actually ranked it above Bloodline in my best to worst from Letterboxd.
Yeah, me too.
And then there's actually another film above it, but we'll get to that later.
All right, so now
we're on to Revelations,
which is the most hated Hellraiser apparently.
And I would say it's second worst, but actually I don't know. It's strange to have mixed feelings about this because I mean I understand why it's rated so low, but it's so bad, so it's good territory.
Yeah. You know what's weird is this is actually one of my ones I like more. I'm not sure if it's above or below Bloodline because like I would way rather rewatch this than Bloodline because Bloodline was just kind of boring.
It's also Revelations is also like the shortest movie in the franchise, which
really helps. I really like that. But yeah, this is like so lowly rated. It's got a 1.2 on Letterboxd, and it's in like the bottom 80 in Letterboxd. Like, it's like down there with shit like fucking Date Movie and like Finding Jesus and stuff. Yeah, it's like why? Like, okay, well we'll get into why. So it's from 2011. It's directed by Victor Garcia, the guy who did Mirrors 2, and yeah, it's the acting is terrible in it, that's for sure. Yeah, so what do you think of this one?
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, me too.
Like the acting was pretty fucking funny. The first like 15 minutes, they just kept yelling Tijuana, like for no fucking reason.
Tijuana, yeah, it was like
it's cracking me up.
Yeah, the first like part of it, it's shot like a found footage movie, and I thought,
yeah, I was like,
oh man, is this actually gonna be? Is this actually gonna be just like half of it gonna be like or it's gonna be a found footage Hellraiser movie, and half of it's just gonna be like drunk teenagers in Tijuana, trying to get laid or whatever. Like I thought this is gonna be great because like I thought that would be hilarious to see like a found footage Hellraiser movie. That just sounds funny, but then it does, and it cuts back. I was a bit disappointing.
Mexico is a very little part of this film, even though they hype Tijuana up so much.
Yeah.
In the first
but yeah.
So basically, like what happens is these two teenagers decide to abandon their homes because they hate their life in LA, even though they're like an upper middle class family. But they're upset with their life, so they decide to go to Tijuana for some reason and live their life a little because I guess they've never done anything except stay in their rooms all day.
Yeah. And
stuff happens the night they get there or whatever. They run into a homeless guy who is a staple of the fucking franchise.
Yeah. Was that supposed to be the same homeless guy from like the first one?
I don't think it's supposed to be the same. I think there's a couple homeless guys just throughout.
Yeah. Several different homeless guys with filament configuration.
I actually like this homeless guy more than a couple of the others.
Yeah, he was good. I guess. I mean, he's better than the rest of the actors in this.
Yeah. He reminded me of someone, but I could never pinpoint it. I want to like almost say Charles Manson, but not.
Yeah, I don't really remember him to be honest, but
yeah. Anyway, they get the cube, and basically one of the guys, Nico, I think his name was, gets power hungry. And
and
shit happens.
I thought this was hilarious. I really enjoyed watching it. Like, I would rather watch this than like
better.
I don't know, like maybe 50% of the other ones. or maybe 60%. Like, I really enjoyed watching it
Yeah,
because it's like it's not good. It's terrible. It is. It's a very terribly made movie. The editing's
but
bad. The acting's
it's so
bad.
bad it's good.
But it really is so bad it's good. It's just so stupid. It's just not good. They made this movie because they didn't want to lose the rights to Hellraiser. Like, they just slapped it
Yeah,
together. That's why it's 75 minutes long. It's just like, threw it together. Who cares? But like, it's really funny and like it's very entertaining. Like, yeah, it's way more entertaining than like, yeah, all those other like shitty ones. Like, fucking, and it keeps cutting back and forth. Like, it's some kind of like really intricate plot when it could have played out chronologically just fine. Like,
the scene where they first interact with Pinhead and open the box is fucking hilarious. Their
oh,
reactions.
he's like, "Oh, what's happening? Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "What do you want?"
Yeah,
And it's just like the way Pinhead says it. It's like he says, "The box." It's
this
like,
is like Pinhead at home, by the way. This is not Doug Bradley anymore. This is some
oh
guy they
yeah,
found on the street for $15. I'm
he's
kidding. That was
terrible.
maybe a little bit rude, but oof, that would yeah, that's not my Pinhead.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't look good. He look. I mean, you know, I feel like the guy's trying to do Pinhead, but you know, compared to Doug Bradley, it's not even fucking close. But
No.
yeah, it's like he doesn't look good as Pinhead. He doesn't have that presence. He
He
looks
has
like
a
he's
weird
just.
facial structure for Pinhead.
I feel like he's too expressive too, with like his facial expressions and stuff, and like his the way he says stuff and stuff. It doesn't. It's not that same like cold way Doug Bradley
He doesn't
Pinhead
have
is.
the presence. I don't think he's as tall as Doug Bradley is he?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's not intimidating. He's just like, and
Baby Pinhead.
yeah, and his
And
delivery on
putting
some of the
him on the
lines so good.
cover of the fucking that's not gonna sell your movie. People like Doug Bradley.
Yeah, yeah, because Doug Bradley, like we said before in the last episode, like for some of these movies that suck so bad, he's like the only thing that's like decent about him. You know, about like Inferno, Hellseeker, Deader. It's like he shows up and it's like, oh look, finally one thing that I came to watch this movie for. You know, and like yeah, he not that I don't think those movies are watchable just because he's in them, but the scenes he's in are watchable because he's in them. But yeah, this is just it's just so dumb and like so basically, they're gone for a couple weeks, like they're missing or whatever, and then one of them, what the fuck is his name? I think it's like Steven? Yeah, Steven.
Yeah.
Um, he shows up to back to their house and like the whole family's there and stuff, and then it actually turns out that Nico, the other guy who was yeah. So here's a weird thing about the plot. So when they're in Mexico, Nico hooks up with a hooker, and then
Oh
he
yeah.
kills her by accident,
Yeah,
like
whatever.
in very bad things, and then like nothing happens from that. Then they like go on with their day, and it's like, oh, they're having a shit time in Mexico, and then like the dude gives them the box and stuff. But like the weird thing about that, and then they go on, they take the box. Pinhead comes and kills Nico, and then Steven, I guess I think he's like drunk or something, and then he's goes off with the hooker, and then the box is like telling him like that seems so cheesy as well. It's saying like Steven, killer, I need blood, and it's like so lame compared to say like the original like with Frank and stuff. And he kills her, and then it's like doing a whole resurrection thing to Nico,
Yeah.
and he's killing hookers, but why did they have to kill the hooker at the beginning? That had nothing to do with anything. That was so lame. It's like maybe to show that oh they're having a bad time in Tijuana, but like it could have just been like oh they're striking out, you know they're drunk and it's like do you know what I mean? Like that had
Yeah.
nothing. That first time when they killed a hooker, that had nothing to do with other times. Like, I don't know. Anyway, and then Nico, he's like almost. He doesn't have skin, but he's almost completely resurrected. And he skins Steven. He takes his skin, and then he's the one who goes back to the house. So he's like kind of lost it because he's going on a power trip or whatever. Because he's came back from the dead and everything. He's like threatening everyone with a shotgun and stuff.
The guy who played Steven is a terrible actor, but he was like my
Yeah.
favorite part of the movie.
Oh, for sure,
because he
yeah.
just like delivered all the lines wrong, and he's supposed to be intimidating, but this guy is definitely not intimidating at all.
Yeah.
Scene where he has a shotgun and he gets up on the fucking coffee table and he's like, "The adults are talking, little girl." It's like, what? It's the
Yeah.
cringiest
And
thing ever.
he's like a whiny edgelord, like
Yeah,
he just seems like a school shooter vibes or something. But like, yeah, he's like doing that, and he's like monologuing. It's like, I am so sick of this generica. Like, it's just so stupid, and he's like going on, and he like, it's so lame and dumb. Like, I feel like that was supposed to be like kind of like this. Maybe they just slapped this movie together. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be anything, but like, it felt like it was supposed to be like, oh, it's he's like having this like powerful speech, and it says something about society or something almost, and then, yeah, it's just kind of stupid. And there's that weird scene where like he's laying in bed like sick or whatever, or kind I don't know, he's just like recovering because he came back, and then like his sister goes into his room, and she doesn't know that that's Nico, and like she like they're like kissing, and it's like she wants to fuck her brother for some reason. Like, what the fuck
yeah,
was
that
that?
part was weird. I was like, I don't understand what their relationship is at all. I guess
Yeah,
because it wasn't really Steven, it was Nico.
and
But
then there's
like
that
the
scene
sister didn't
before.
care.
And then there's the scene before, because she didn't know it was Nico. But the scene before is like she's holding the puzzle box and she's like acting real weird, and like I think it's Nico's father is like looking at her and like checking her out, kind of like this weird, like she wanted to fuck him or something. Like, I don't know what
There,
the.
there was some weird sexual vibes going on, and it did not help the movie.
Yeah, and like I really didn't get what like the whole thing with the sister and the puzzle box. Like, it was almost like it was influencing her or something, but that didn't even go anywhere. Like, it's just dumb. And then like, I don't know. And then at the end, it's like, let's see what happens. Steven comes back, and he's all full of pins because Pinhead like was pounding pins into his head.
Like
And
miniature pinhead or some shit.
yeah, little mini me
I don't.
Pinhead. And
It's never explained why he does this.
yeah. And there's that funny scene when Pinhead's doing that, and he like looks up at the camera like, ugh, like he just came or something. That
Yeah,
was kind of funny too. And then like they come back, and let's see what happens. They take the mother and or something. Let's see what happened there. They like take the mother and like they put chains or like, hooks in her, and you think she's gonna get pulled apart because she's screaming and stuff, but then they just kind of like
yeah.
bring her into the shadow, and it's like, oh, okay. And then do they kill Steven / Nico, like the Nico in the Steven skin? I forget what happened there.
I think everyone. The dad shoots Nico.
Oh, because that's something I
Yeah,
also didn't get. So like, the dad. I mean, he shot the dad.
yeah.
Nico in Steven's skin. He shot the dad. And, like, he's saying all this stuff, and like he's really being an asshole, and like he's gonna like he was gonna sacrifice like this guy's daughter, to Pinhead, give it to her or whatever. And then they're like, all right, we're gonna torture you for eternity. To Nico, and then the father shoots him like, oh, almost like he's like saving him from being tortured. But like, why? And then they like, it's like, then they're gonna do that to him and his wife. Like, why? Like, why did he do that? What does he give a fuck about Nico for? Like, that was
Yeah,
odd.
the ending was terrible.
Oh, and then they just all
And
disappear, and then the sister like picks up the box and looks at the camera, and ends like, "Oh, okay, great. So she's gonna summon him. Who gives a fuck?" Like, I don't know. It's bad, but it's really, really funny, and it's really, really entertaining. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'll give it about 1 star, so two out of 10.
I would give it a 5 out of 10 because I enjoyed it so much. It is. I don't think it's worth giving like or so low like it being on the Letterboxd bottom 80. It's not that
Yeah,
bad, but it's definitely worth like a 2 out of 10 or 3. But like I would give it a 5, almost a 6 actually. If I ever rewatch this, which I might because it's funny, I might rewatch this drunk at some point. I feel like that would be really funny. I might give this a 6 actually. This is one of my. I don't like it as much as maybe Hellworld because I think Hellworld's actually decent and definitely not as good as the first 3 Hellraisers. It's not actually a good movie, but it's so entertaining. I would give it a 5 out of 10, closer to a 6. Something. Plus, especially since it's so short, like it's not a big commitment to watch, you know. So should we go on to the last one, the final one?
Yeah, sure. And then here we are with Hellraiser Judgment,
We made it.
which brings it's. I really actually like this movie because it was
Okay.
such a fresh breath of air compared to the last everything after 3, because it
Hmm.
brought something new to the lore and mythos
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
everything. And a large reason I like the new guy, it's called the Auditor, is because he's probably like the best actor in the film.
Hmm. Yeah, and this is from 2018, Hellraiser
Yeah.
Judgment, directed by
So
Gary J. Tunnicliffe. You want to describe what it's about?
in Hell, Pinhead from the Cenobite sect and the Auditor of the Stygian Inquisition are discussing how to adapt their methods of harvesting souls in the face of advancing human technology that is making the configuration's gateways to hell obsolete, which is interesting. Anyways, meanwhile on Earth, 3 detectives, brothers Sean and David Cotter and Christine Edgerton investigate a serial killer known as the Preceptor, whose murders are based on the Ten Commandments. So that's the basic gist of the film. And the auditor's guy who is part of this different sector compared to the Cenobites we've known for the last 8 movies. Right? No, 9 movies. And I just really like this character because he just brought a whole new thing to the series that I hadn't seen, and I enjoyed the actor. I think the actor is actually director
Oh,
for
it
the
is.
auditor. Um.
Oh, it is. Huh. I didn't realize
Also,
that.
I completely missed Heather Langenkamp. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street. She plays a landlady in this film. I don't know how I missed her, even though I was looking for her.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't realize that either. Um.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, this one was interesting. To say the least.
I like
Yeah.
everything with the auditor and the Cenobites was great,
Same. Same.
but the detective shit and the human world drama was boring as fuck. It was very
Exactly.
generic serial killer thriller type shit.
It is. It's 7. Come on, it's 7. The
Yeah,
biblical shit,
it,
the fucking
it
gruesome crime scenes. It's just 7. Like, I don't see why they needed that in the story. I mean, obviously that's the whole point of the story, but like, I feel like it almost exists separately of the stuff with the auditor. Because like, um, I like those scenes with the auditor. I mean, I thought they were maybe trying a little bit too hard to be like grotesque and edgy. It kind of felt like almost something out of like a Tom Six movie with like the.
there's only like one kill or one death scene I guess I liked, and that was the dog in the woman's stomach. That was pretty
Oh yeah, yeah, I
marvelous.
like that. But like the stuff with the auditor, it was odd, but like I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was cool. It's like, man, we're actually saying something cool. Like when I first started it was like, man, this is actually cool. And like I saw someone point this out in a review. It kind of looks those scenes look like the Nine Inch Nails music video closer. Do you know that music video?
I haven't
Because
seen
it
it
looks
in
exactly
forever.
like it. It's very all right. But like, yeah, it's weird that he like interviews them and then like he writes down their sins on a like a steampunk typewriter,
Yeah.
and then a fat man walks in and he eats them with child tears. Where he like makes the paper soggy with child tears and then eats them and then vomits it into a tube, which is then goes into like a trough that like a bunch of topless female Cenobites like touch and like determine like I guess how much he should be cleansed.
It's a
And like a
weird
bunch of
process.
it's very convoluted and weird. Then like people come in and then like strap him to a thing. Then a bunch of people like come in and like lick him, and then like a giant like fat like butcher looking dude with like a baby mask Cenobite walks in. Someone jumps off his back and like chops him up with blades and skins him. Very convoluted and weird, but like that was very enjoyable to watch. It was very weird. It was very grotesque, and I like that. They did
Yeah.
that twice, I think, in the movie.
I
But then the
also want
rest
to
of it
point
is just
out
this. The rest of the movie, outside of those really cool scenes with the Auditor are just like really lame, generic police detective serial killer stuff. That's just a ripoff of Seven.
Yeah.
Like the big twist that the main detective is actually the guy doing all of it. It's just stupid. I didn't care about that. I wish there was more Auditor. I wish there was more Pinhead. And there's some weird stuff with Pinhead. Should we get
I
into the
didn't
whole?
mind this Pinhead. I thought he's no Doug Bradley, of course, but compared to the last Pinhead we got, he's definitely better.
He was acceptable. He was like,
It was a different take on Pinhead.
I don't know why, but there's this weird like religious thing in it where it's like, so before this point, it was never really brought up about like the actual like hell, and I mean there was stuff about hell, but it was all in Pinhead. But like God and like demons and angels.
It was
but
just
like
a different dimension, not
which
like
I like,
actual
like,
hell.
even though I thought it was underwhelming in Hellbound, with the whole hell dimension is just a maze, and there's a giant crystal in the sky called Leviathan that's God apparently. That was fine, it's just I didn't like the way it was portrayed, but like that could have been cool. I just thought it was underwhelming in Hellbound, but like this one, there's like an angel shows up, like telling Pinhead what to do, and like I guess God is like sending people to do stuff because it's
completely
stupid.
came out of left field and felt really kind of stupid.
And like then like so there's an angel. Okay, so let's backtrack a bit. So the whole time there's these gruesome crime scenes showing up. Very Seven, very serial killer. It's like the Ten Commandments, and like you said, the scene with the woman with the dog who was like the dog's her baby and was sewn into her womb. That was cool. I like that. It was grotesque and weird. So the main detective guy, I guess he had PTSD, so he wanted to kill people who were doing bad things.
Yeah.
And okay,
which
but
is
then
kind of a bit of a disrespectful view of PTSD, but
yeah, it was just stupid, and like it was a dumb twist, and then it's like, and then he calls the his wife was cheating on. Was it that she was cheating on him with his brother? Was that it? Whatever. And it's kind of like in the first movie with Frank and Julia, the whole infidelity or whatever. But and Pinhead comes in, and then an angel Pinhead comes in because he called him with the box, the puzzle box, to kill his wife and brother, I think, and then Pinhead is gonna kill the man. What's the main guy's name? I think it's like Sean. He's gonna kill Sean, but then an angel shows up and said, "No, Sean is doing a good thing, killing bad people, because good cannot exist without evil." And I guess God wants him alive, not because he's killing bad people or that he's doing a good thing, but because people are dying, which makes no sense. Like, what the fuck? I mean, that makes no sense because the people doing the bad things are making evil, I guess, in quotes. Do you know what I mean? That makes no sense. And then Pinhead kills the angel, and
which is really stupid. Why the fuck would he do this? I don't understand.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, nobody could judge me because nobody could punish me in any worse way than because I enjoy it." And then I guess God just turns him into human, and he's like sitting on the street with homeless people screaming. It's like so stupid. Like it was funny, but like
the ending was entirely out of left field and did not match the rest of the film.
Yeah, because it's like the entire thing's this dumb serial killer movie, and then for some reason Pinhead's in there. It has nothing to do with it. Like those two things have nothing to do with each other. And like Pinhead saying this thing like, "Oh, in the modern age, we can't get people through the
I'm like
puzzle
not
boxes."
sure about that. I'm like, I feel like
I thought he was gonna like post like ads on Craigslist or something. like he gives people papers so they can come to a house, and it was just like, what? And then that has nothing to do with the serial killer plotline. So it just makes no sense. The whole movie makes no sense. And then the ending with Pinhead, if he's like damned to be human, doesn't that kind of contradict the ending in Bloodline? Unless maybe he like goes back to being a demon or being back to himself and then does that in the future.
That's a good point that I didn't even consider, because I was just like, the ending's just like, oh, angels exist, and he.
Yeah, Pinhead... I don't like that. That it's such a like clear, biblical and religious viewpoint of like
It
angels and
was
demons.
such a
It,
lame angel interpretation. I'm like, we have these Cenobites, and you give us just a human in white clothing. That was so
that is so
lazy.
lame. It is so lame, and like, yeah, it's like at least in Hellbound when it's like portraying hell and I guess Leviathan is God. I don't know. That was kind of cool. That was like kind of like this weird, like, okay, what the fuck even is this? But in this, it's just like this boring, someone in white clothing as an angel, and I was like, just dumb. And I didn't like that aspect of it. I didn't like the whole serial killer thing because it's very generic and bland and lame and a ripoff of Seven. But like, I really enjoyed the two scenes with the auditor. So I can't say I hate this movie, but I think it's pretty bad overall. Um, yeah. So anything else about it? Because you seem to enjoy it more than I did.
Um, I mean, upon thinking about it more, my enjoyment is kind of in. I'll give it like a 5 or 6. If you take Pinhead out, throw all the serial killer shit out, and just make it like about the auditor, I think it would have been a fine film.
Just make a movie about the auditor. That would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would give this.
it's
I would give
pretty
this a 4 out
ironic
of 10. Yeah, I would.
when a guy who primarily did special effects work for his entire career decided to direct the film and star in it and is a better actor than the main villain of the series.
Yeah, like if this would have just been like that weird auditor doing his thing with like, cleansing people or whatever, like that was kind of cool. I enjoyed that, but the rest of it was stupid. So I'm giving this a 4 out of
I,
10.
yeah, I
Yeah,
like the way the auditor spoke. He was kind of funny.
yeah, I liked him too. I liked the effects on his face too, were like slashed up. That was cool. Actually, I thought the Cenobites in this, they look
Were
cool.
Yeah,
They were
I
they
like
were
the
decent.
new
Like,
demons that they showed, which I guess technically aren't Cenobites because they're a part of a different order. I don't
yeah.
know if that how that works, but like
Well, doesn't Cenobite just means like
monk.
follower? Yeah, something like that. But I like the one. It didn't really remind me. It didn't really seem Cenobite like, but it was like the like fat butcher looking guy with like a baby
Yeah,
mask. Like that was kind of. It was like I said before. I think it was maybe a little bit too edgy in those scenes with like the fat guy puking and like the um.
yeah.
Oh, and then like blood comes out and it's like shooting all over like the female Cenobites topless and shit. Like it was just it seemed like it was maybe a little bit too like being edgy. But I enjoyed that. It was fun. It was cool. It was gross. But the rest of the movie just fell completely flat on its face, and I didn't like that. So yeah, 4 out of 10.
I rated it uh 3 stars on
Good.
Letterboxd.
That's
I
fair. I
guess
get
I'll
that.
keep it because I just like the audio. It was after dealing with like, let's see, six, yeah, like 6 other films that were utterly terrible. It was a fresh breath of air.
Yeah, I get that. Is that all we got to say for the Hellraiser Judgment? Hellraiser 10. Hellraiser.
Yeah, I think that's it. We fucking did it. 10 films.
Man, we made it. um, yeah, that was
Quite a long and arduous journey for my debut.
yeah. Glad to have you on here, by the way. So I had some just general Hellraiser questions. Couple things I wanted to say. How would you rank them? How would you rank all the Hellraisers?
So I might have to change it just a little bit from how I originally ranked them when I immediately like ranked them on Letterbox. I would
Yeah, I would.
say,
Oh,
respectively, not Halo, Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3 are like in order from best to worst. Those are the first
hmm,
3. But I'm thinking maybe I'll put Hellraiser 3 above 2 actually,
yeah,
because I just have more fun with 3.
yeah, same. I would also rank it like that.
Um, I'll probably put Hellworld above Judgment,
Okay.
and I'll change my ranking from 2.5 to I'll keep 2.5 and knock Hellraiser Judgment down to 2.5 stars instead. Then after Judgment, which is 5th, and Bloodline, I'd say that's okay for me.
Hmm.
Or I don't know, should I put Revelations above Bloodline?
Um, I did. Yeah, I would rank I would say Hellraiser, Hellraiser 3, Hellraiser 2, then Hellworld, Revelation, Bloodline, Judgement, Hellseeker, Inferno, and Debtor. Um, yeah, I think the only reason Revelation is over. I think the only genuinely good movies out of these are Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2 and 3. Even 3 is
Yeah.
debatable since it's so cheesy and so like not like the first one. But I think those 3 are genuinely good movies. Like you can watch them and be like, you know what, this is a good movie. After that, it's mostly just like the ones I enjoy are kind of ironic, sort of in a way, or not
Yeah.
ironic. It's like unintentionally funny, I think. But yeah, I would say Hellworld and then Revelation. The only reason that Revelation is over Bloodline is because I don't see myself rewatching Bloodline really. Maybe if I wanted to rewatch them all, which I probably wouldn't do, but like maybe if I wanted to watch like the first 3 and I was like, you know, fuck it, let's watch Bloodline since it kind of wraps it up. But I would way rather rewatch Revelation because it's just so funny. Then Judgment. Then Bloodline, and then Judgment because Judgment, like I said, it's just there's too much bullshit in it, and it's only 80 minutes long, but there's just too much of it that I just was found boring. And then Hellseeker, Inferno, and Debtor. Hellseeker I only like a little bit more than Inferno, but I think it's just that bit more tolerable. Inferno sucks, and Debtor's definitely the worst. But we can both agree that the first Hellraiser is the best, and Debtor is the worst, right?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to my rankings, Hellraiser 1 is number 1, Hellraiser 3, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. Then we got Hellworld in 4th, Judgment 5th, Revelation 6th, Bloodline 7, Hellseeker 8, Inferno 9, and then Debtor 10th.
Okay, so we're just like a couple. I think I put Revelation higher than you did, and you did Judgment higher than I did. But
Yeah,
we're just like we're pretty much the same. Pretty much ranked them about the same. That's cool. Who's your favorite Cenobite?
I mean, Pinhead,
Well, that's the obvious choice.
Okay, I said aside from Pinhead.
Yeah, he's the best. I mean, obviously, Doug Bradley one, not fucking Revelation Pinhead.
I don't know. I like the look. Shatter is pretty cool. I don't even know what the Cenobite's name is, but I think he was in Hellworld. He had like tape over his fucking.
Oh man, I don't really remember the one in that.
He was which the Cenobite who killed the bad guy from Hellworld. He had like tape over his face.
Yeah.
Like,
there's like 2 of them at the end. Yeah, man,
yeah,
I don't
like
really remember
his design.
I mean, I like
Cenobite
CD.
kind of take it back. CD's great because
I love CD. It's so cheesy and funny. I also like Butterball from the first one. He's funny. He's like, I just like him.
The original lineup of Cenobites are great.
Oh yeah, with a female one with a throat and Chatterer, and the Cenobite dog was cool too, even though I don't know how that exists.
The twins from Inferno kind of creep me out genuinely. They just look weird, and the way they move and react with the world.
Yeah, and they would like stick their tongues out and shit. That was cool. I mean, they were cool Cenobites, but what they were doing in that movie didn't make any fucking sense. But yeah, they were cool. I also like.
I mean, the Cenobites are definitely like some of the least offensive parts of these movies. The designs, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the ones with the twisted head together. Those were cool.
The Auditor, I don't think technically counts as a Cenobite, but he's up there for me.
Yeah, he was cool. Also, what was your favorite kill or favorite death of the series? I really love Frank in the first one when he gets ripped apart at the end.
Scene is peak.
I also really like. Let's see. In 3, I like the whole club massacre scene when Pinhead's just killing people for no reason.
That's pretty fun.
All of those are so goofy and feels like something out of Nightmare on Elm Street. I like those.
Transformation with the twins is interesting.
Yeah. Also, I like when his name Chenard in the second one gets his head
Yeah,
ripped off. That was just a cool scene. Um, and I like when everyone died at the end of Deader because that meant it was over.
yeah.
That's really about it. Overall, I really why do I keep saying overall? Fuck. There were some fun ones, some shit ones, but I'm glad I watched them, even though it was sort of exhausting in points. I'm glad I
Yeah.
can say I've seen every Hellraiser because, like, some of these really not a lot of people have seen them. They're not like something like, say, Friday the 13th or, Halloween, where like
Yeah.
they're all well known. It's like past like 4, like barely anyone's seen some of these. Like just like a couple thousand watched on or a couple thousand logged or whatever on Letterboxd.
We're one of the unlucky few.
Yeah. I don't know. Even though some of them were painful, it was to get through it. I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah.
Good. Glad I saw him.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how do we end this?
Before we end it, a couple things. What have you watched in the past week? Or you could do it last 2 weeks since.
Yeah, I haven't.
I haven't done. The last episode was fucking what 3-4 weeks ago. By the way, all of those who are, you probably didn't watch it all the way to the end if you were, but sorry to everyone who was expecting a La Dolce Vita episode. That kind of got fucked last up. Man, I should have said this at the beginning of the first one, but that kind of got fucked because of some stuff with my co-hosts, and I got Andy now, so that's cool. Yeah, thanks for coming on. You'll be the new regular. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be epic.
I'll be back next week.
We will do the La Dolce Vita episode, but probably at some point when I can get Liam to come on, because I know he really loves that movie and he recommended it. So we'll do that some other point.
I may not manage to watch that just to join along.
Yeah, I don't know when, but at some point we'll. So what have you watched in the past week? Just that was going to be a thing we were going to do regularly. Since I was watching Hellraiser every night, I really didn't see too much. But let's see.
I watched Jackass the movie, which is something I've seen plenty of times before, but it had been a while. Pretty alright film. It felt more like a compilation of just skits without felt like an extended episode of the show more than a movie.
Yeah, I want to see that. I really enjoyed the show, so
the quality of the later movies, and I can't wait for Jackass Forever.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely. I still have like half of the third season to watch, and then I'm gonna watch all the Jackasses plus the 1.5, 2.5, all of them, and then before Jackass Forever comes out, because that'll be fun.
I watched a decent amount of stuff 2 weeks ago, but outside of 2 weeks ago, I'll just go through what I've seen 2 weeks ago. There was Burnt Offerings, which was a poor man's Shining, in my opinion. Even Oliver Reed couldn't really save that movie. It was just boring.
It was horror.
Yeah, it was horrifying to watch because it was so boring. It was okay. Old 1976 film with Oliver Reed, which amazing actor. I love him. I watched Near Dark, which is great underrated vampire flick from Catherine Bigelow.
Heard of that?
It's a nice little flick. Got Bill Paxton. He kills it. Lance Henriksen is in there too.
That's cool.
I watched Manhunter, which was pretty amazing.
I need to see that. That's like the last Hannibal Lecter movie I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's great. There was Crazy Not Insane, which was a documentary about this lady and her somewhat controversial alternative looks into the psychology of serial killers. It was Terrified, which was I forget what country it is.
I've heard of that. That's
Um,
on Shudder, isn't it?
yeah, takes place in Buenos Aires. So it has some really. I gave it like 4 stars because I
Nice.
was genuinely surprised by some of the scares they had.
I like the poster for it.
The poster is interesting. It has a really good jump scare in the movie that I was not expecting it at all. Even though I should have
That's interesting.
expected it, I was like, "Oh fuck!" Uh, Terrified's great. I watched Chernobyl, great show. Mandy. I don't, I don't really care about Panos Cosmatos.
Uh,
That might be controversial, but it's a
I
bit too
think I
much
saw his other. What the fuck is this other movie called?
behind the Rainbow.
Beyond the Black Rainbow. Yeah, that was
It's just
okay.
all style and no substance, which I don't really care
Yeah,
for.
for sure. Yeah, same for Mandy. I enjoyed Mandy. I think I actually own it, but yeah, it's not great, but it's fun. I like Nick Cage in it.
And then the last movie 2 weeks ago was The House that Jack Built, and that's a perfect movie for me. That's a rare perfect movie. That does not happen a lot.
Great film. Yeah. And you said before that you hadn't seen any other Lars von Trier, right?
No, that was my first Lars von Trier.
Ooh. We have to talk about Antichrist on here at some point. I love Lars von Trier as one of my favorite directors, even though he can get pretty pretentious at points. Yeah, I love The House of Jack Bill. I love Melancholia, Antichrist. He's got some really great films. I'd love to talk about him more on this podcast, especially Antichrist, because that's my favorite film from him. So maybe expect an episode about some of his films in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw a movie called The Wild Boys, which is kind of a mix of like Clockwork Orange and like Lord of the Flies or something. It was weird. A lot of weird stuff in there. I didn't love it. It also felt pretty style over substance, kind of like a. What the fuck was his name? Guy who did Mandy. I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah,
I didn't love it.
Panos Cosmatos. His dad is actually a famous director.
Oh, he is? Huh.
I forget what movie his dad did. George P. Cosmatos. He did Tombstone. Yeah,
And Rambo Part 3. Or no, Part 2.
yeah.
Weird.
So
And Cobra. Weird. I didn't know that.
which he has a completely different style from his dad.
Anyway, I also rewatched A Clockwork Orange and Cachet Hidden. I love both of them. I gave them both like a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I love Clockwork Orange. It's one of my favorite movies. Same for Cachet. I think they're both really, really brilliant movies. I'd love to talk more about both of them, both from Kubrick and Michelle Haneke. I'd love to talk more about their films at some point because they're some of my favorite directors. I also watched Amour from Michelle Haneke, a really depressing movie about.
Love.
Yeah, it's a older couple, and the woman has a stroke, and she has dementia, and it's kind of the downward spiral of having dementia and having to be taken care of, and like honestly, it's probably the most depressing film I've seen. Like I've seen a lot of depressing shit, but like it's just really fucking depressing, and I loved it. It's great. I watched The Conformist by Bernardo Bertolucci. I enjoyed it, didn't love it. I might like it more if I rewatched it. I'd like to see more from him. Then I rewatched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Amazing.
I watched
film.
it while drunk, and holy shit, it's such a good experience to watch drunk. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's other wink wink substances you can do while watching that movie.
Yeah,
it's all about drugs, but that's a great movie. It's 10 out of 10, one of my favorites ever. I love that movie. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times this year. Then I watched all the Hellraisers, and let's just do another quick discussion of all those.
yeah.
I'm kidding. I watched The Suicide Squad, the new one. It was fun.
I need to watch that.
I really liked it.
It's just getting mixed reviews from like people, but it has good letterbox rating. But people I know keep rating it low, which is weird.
Yeah, I like it. It's definitely one of my definitely a superhero movie that I actually enjoyed because like I don't know the past couple years or past year or so I don't really know. I really haven't enjoyed a lot of superhero movies lately.
I feel like I'd
Marvel,
probably
DC.
enjoy it.
It's
It feels
fun. It's a very
like
fun.
we're stylistic.
It's aware that it's stupid. It's James Gunn, It's very much like Guardians of the Galaxy or something. And if you watch it before next episode, maybe we could talk about it a little bit. Because I have some thoughts.
It's
I might.
definitely going on the watch list. I'll probably watch it very soon because everyone I know is watching it, and I'm tired of getting spoiled.
Yeah. I also watched The Wrestler last night by Darren Aronofsky, which was really great, depressing character study type movie
I
with
haven't
Mickey Rourke.
seen it in forever. I haven't seen it since I was like 12.
Kind of sad, sort of good movie about a down on his luck wrestler dude. Also, for the past month or so, I've been watching the show 6 Feet Under. I'm on season 4 now. I finished season 3 last week, so really, really good show. It's consistently good. I thought season 3 was a bit weaker than season 1 and 2, but I'll have to see where it goes. It's definitely keeping my interest, and I heard season 5 is really good. So that's the final season, and
need a new show.
I heard that the last season is actually great, which I don't usually hear about shows. Usually the last season of stuff is kind of falls off, but so that's good. It's keeping my interest. I really want to know where it goes.
The last
really good
season of
HBO
Oz
show.
was terrible.
Oh, that sucks. I want to see Oz. It looks good.
The first 4.5 seasons of Oz are amazing.
That's definitely on my show priority watch list. I've got so many shows I gotta watch. That's
some people would probably argue that the show peaks. A lot of people like the first season of shows, and they will never rank any other season of a show better than first season. I don't understand that mindset. Personally, I think Oz peaked around season 3 in the first half of season 4.
Yeah, I don't mind when a show peaks at a certain point, like say season 2, season 3. It's when it's the first 2 seasons suck, but after this point it gets good. I can't stand it because I'm not going to sit through hours and hours of shit television, But yeah, actually, most shows, the second season is usually weaker than the first because they try to be as good as the first if the first was really good. But I thought the second season of 6 Feet Under was actually maybe better than the first. They're both great, but there's some elements in the first I didn't like as much as. But yeah,
actually,
really solid
I lied
show.
a little bit. I forgot I started watching Barry, so I just started season 2 of Barry, which is a good show.
Yeah, I heard that was good. It looks like something that I might like.
And they're starting to film I think they're going to film the next 2 seasons back to back, or they probably should, in my opinion, because they're already written.
How many seasons are there of that?
There's 2 right now, but there'll be at least 4 because they've already written 3 and 4. Pandemic slowed production down.
My friend just texted me, just messaged me saying that he finally watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas because I've been telling him to watch it for months. So shout out him for finally watching it. But anyway, that was everything I watched this past couple weeks. There's more from before since the last episode, but I don't want to go on for too long. So we have a viewer recommendation for next episode. We had some viewers submit recommendations in the YouTube comment section. So if you want to recommend something for the next episode, or where it'll be every third episode, because I'll have a turn, then Andy, you'll have a turn, and then we'll do a viewer one. At least I think that's how we'll work it out. We're still figuring stuff out. And the movies are Paris, Texas, and Yojimbo by Vin Vendors and Akira Kurosawa. So that should be fun. It should be a fun discussion. What?
Yes, I love Paris, Texas. So I have the Criterion for it, and I've not watched the Criterion for it, so it'll be great diving into it once again, especially with all those special features it comes with.
Yeah, me too. I got it. I got the Criterion a while back. I've only seen it once, but I also love the movie. I think it's really great. And I haven't seen Yojimbo yet, and I've been meaning to see more Kurosawa for a while now.
Yeah, Yojimbo's going to be first time for me, so.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a very very interesting episode. So
Be refreshing to watch Mac Volcano compared to Deader,
yeah,
which made me dead inside.
yeah. Well, that's about it, folks. um, yeah. So see you next time. Hope you enjoyed our
Adios.
discussion of all the Hellraisers. And yeah, thanks for joining me, Andy, and being my new
Yep.
co-host. And yeah, see everyone in the next episode.